Chapter 637. She had lived in such an environment since she was young. It was very difficult to walk out of brainwashing and grow roots and thorns from a greenhouse flower that could not experience wind and rain. But Lu Yanyan still did it. When I did not pay attention to them back then, I also felt very uncomfortable. I could not help feeling guilty. I always felt that I was wrong. I was worried that my parents would not be able to take the blow, and that Luo Cheng would not be able to live well because of my ruthlessness. Lu Yanyan's eyes were empty. Suddenly, she smiled faintly. Later on, I realized that I thought too much of myself. I was not that important at all. Silly girl. Jian Yun shook her head disapprovingly. You are very important. It is just that they... What Jian Yun wanted to say was that her father, Mrs. Luo, only treated this daughter as an ATM and only thought about her son. She ignored that her daughter was also their flesh and blood, and was also the heart that they raised from childhood. But Jian Yun did not say it in the end. Even if Luo Yanyan had thought it through now, that was after all still giving birth to her parents who raised her. Jian Yun did not want to do this thing to drive a wedge between them. I understand. Lu Yanyan raised her head and looked at Jian Yun. The loneliness in her eyes disappeared and a gentle light appeared. I am living very well now. I plan to take a loan with HC to buy a house. Although we are not rich, if we can work together, our lives will always be better. Yes. As long as the two of them truly love each other, they can think about each other more. There's nothing difficult to overcome. At this point, Jian Yun turned her head again and looked at the sign of the coffee shop behind her. Her eyes were full of warmth. Yanyan? Is that you? Just as Jian Yun and Luo Yanyan were talking while waiting for Li Shangzi to get the car from the parking lot, a man's voice suddenly sounded behind them. Jian Yun heard this voice sound similar, but could not remember where she had heard it before. But she also keenly noticed that Luo Yanyan's brows suddenly knitted when she heard this voice. Yanyan, is that you? The man asked again. Jian Yun turned to look, and was surprised to find that the man who asked was Qin, Luo Yanyan's ex-husband. Ms. Jian. Qin eyes lit up when he saw Jian Yun and immediately greeted her. Jian Yun nodded politely and then went to look at Lu Yanyan. She found that her expression had returned to normal. At this time, she also turned around and looked at Qin. Her pretty face was covered with an unfamiliar and polite smile. Qin, long time, no see. Qin did not seem to be doing well. Compared to 2 years ago, he looked much more haggard. His originally decent appearance now seemed to be somewhat dispirited, especially the 2 big bags under his eyes, which made him look very listless. Instead, Luo Yanyan had thought it through after the divorce. She did not save money to supplement the bottomless hole in the family. She was willing to spend money to dress herself up. Now that she was in love with Li Sheng's, it made her look even more radiant. She was already small and cute, but she was more beautiful and elegant than before. With such a comparison, one could tell who was doing well and who was not doing well. Yanyan. Qin looked at Luo Yanyan greedily, and his eyes did not hide the surprise in his eyes. He was stunned for a long time before he finally reacted. Then he said somewhat embarrassed, Yanyan, what are you doing here? Wait for my boyfriend to come and pick me up. Luo Yanyan smiled faintly and looked away from Qin. She and Qin had only been married for a short time. She did not have a deep relationship with Qin, but this man treated her well. He listened to her and thought for her everything. It was impossible for Luo Yanyan to not have any feelings for him. However, he had to treat her well with his mother's consent. His principle was that his mother should be happy first. If anything made his mother unhappy, it would be treasonous. Back then, Luo Yanyan got pregnant before marriage and was already looked down upon by Mrs. Qin. Her mother's family was so dragging her down that Mrs. Qin had never taken a liking to her, and kept trying to sow discord between her and Qin. Qin did not have a backbone. Therefore, Luo Yanyan did not live well in that marriage life. Initially, she wanted to persist for the sake of the child, but in the end, she did not even protect the child. It made her completely disheartened. Although Qin had tried his best to salvage the situation and knelt in front of her and made countless promises, Luo Yanyan had already given up and firmly divorced in the end. She would rather borrow money to return Qin than have any relationship with the Qin family. Boyfriend? You have a boyfriend? Qin had been looking at Luo Yanyan and felt that she was more beautiful than before. When he heard Luo Yanyan's words, his expression quickly changed. Yes, I'm about to get married. Luo Yanyan did not seem to want to talk much with Qin. Seeing Qin reminded her of that memory that she wanted to forget. There was also the child she had once cherished. Qin face turned pale as if he was hit by a punch. Disbelief appeared in his eyes. You want to get married? With whom? Xia Yun looked on coldly. She had heard from Wu Yuanjing that Qin Dong had been looking for Luo Yanyan for the past 2 years. It was just that Luo Yanyan probably suffered too much in the Qin family and was too disappointed with Qin Dong, so she refused again and again. At this time, Xia Yun naturally saw that Qin Dong did not forget Luo Yanyan. Of course he married my boyfriend. Lu Yanyan laughed lightly. She wanted to leave but turned her head to look in the direction of the parking lot. Li Shengs went to get the car, but why did he not come? Qin Dong, who are you talking to? At this moment, a female voice suddenly sounded. Qin Dong was shocked and conflicted, but did not react. Jian Yun and Luo Yanyan exchanged glances, because both of them could tell that the sharp voice belonged to Qin Dong's mother. Be it Lu Yanyan or Jian Yun, they did not have a good impression of Mrs. Qin. Jian Yun also knew that when Luo Yanyan insisted on a divorce, she was chased to school and humiliated by Mrs. Qin. This woman was a typical shrew in the city and was unreasonable. Let's go. Jian Yun pulled Luo Yanyan and did not want to face Mrs. Qin. But Mrs. Qin saw Luo Yanyan and her eyebrows immediately stood up. She let out a cold laugh. I was wondering who it was. So it was you, this shameless woman. What? You got divorced and lost your child. Is it because no one wants it? And now you want to take it from us, Qin Dong? Let me tell you, even if the door of my Qin family is open to any Tom, Dick, or Harry, you won't let a woman like you in. Please pay attention to your words. Xia Yun could not take it anymore. If not for Mrs. Qin's age, she would have slapped Mrs. Qin's dirty mouth. What? Did I say wrong? Could it be that Lu Yanyan did not get a divorce and did not give birth? Mrs. Qin curled her lips, her face full of disdain. Yes, I was divorced, and also gave birth to children. But so what? Luo Yanyan was very calm. She calmly looked at Mrs. Qin's sharp and mean face, and suddenly felt that she was once bullied by this woman. It was really laughable. So what? Mrs. Qin raised her voice and looked at Luo Yanyan in a weird way. Her face was full of disdain. Look at you. Don't you feel that you are shameless? Now society is really bad. Women who have been divorced and have had babies can be teachers. If I were your principal, I would be the first to fire you. Shameless. Yu Jian Yun was furious. She took a step forward and wanted to tear Mrs. Qin apart. Jian Yun. Luo Yanyan held Jian Yun's hand and stopped her from going forward. She maintained a calm expression on her face, as if she was not provoked by Mrs. Qin's words. The corner of her mouth even curled into a contemptuous smile. Don't bicker with her. Shh, I think you are guilty. I was right and there is nothing else to say. Mrs. Qin rolled her eyes and continued to use her sharp tongue. She said whatever was unpleasant. Don't think that just because you put on an act. I can allow you to continue your relationship with my Qin Dong. Listen well. I have seen many shameless women like you. I know very well what you are up to. Mom! Don't say any more. Qin Dong's face darkened when he saw Mrs. Qin coming over. Mrs. Qin's words were too ridiculous. He reached out to pull her, wanting to stop her from continuing. Mrs. Qin slapped Qin Dong to the side. She looked at him coldly and said angrily, Qin Dong, let me tell you. You should put away your thoughts. I will never allow this woman to enter my house. Mom, Yanyan has a boyfriend. She is going to get married soon. Qin Dong's eyes were about to explode. He glared at Mrs. Qin angrily, and his face turned red. He wanted to push Mrs. Qin away. He looked at Lu Yanyan in embarrassment and apology. He said with a complicated expression, Yanyan, I am sorry. Marry? Mrs. Qin heard him and raised her eyebrows even higher. She looked Lu Yanyan up and down and the corner of her mouth curled up. That's right. Knowing that you are not worthy of my Qin Dong, you really need to make plans as soon as possible. Taking advantage of the fact that you are still young and have a bit of skin, hurry up and find a man. I just don't know what kind of man has such bad eyes. He actually likes you. If you dare say another word, I will not be polite to you anymore. Luo Yanyan could bear it, but Jian Yun could not. In the past, she only knew that Xu Haiyang's mother's words were unpleasant, but now she realized that there was a strong hand in the strong. In terms of viciousness, Xu Haiyang's mother could not compare to Mrs. Qin in the slightest. Mrs. Qin clearly knew Jian Yun's identity. She was a bully and afraid of the strong. Knowing that she could not offend Jian Yun, she did not dare to refute Jian Yun's words. She only straightened her neck and said stubbornly, Am I wrong? Ms. Jian, don't ignore the facts just because you have a good relationship with her. You have to be wary of this woman. Her maternal family is a bottomless pit. She is also an unclear person. Be careful that she cheated your money. Xian Yun opened her eyes in surprise. Her face was full of undisguised admiration for Mrs. Quinn. This woman's ability to reverse the truth was one of the best. It would be a waste not to be a negotiation expert. She actually started to incite the relationship between Luo Yanyan and her. Furthermore, looking at her solemn expression, for your own good, she was simply a show-off. Mom, can you say a few words less? Quinn Dong was extremely ashamed and angry. But the more he wanted to protect Luo Yanyan, the angrier Mrs. Quinn became. Why should I say less? She is about to get married and has long forgotten about you. Why are you still protecting her? When she married you back then, her goal was not simple. It caused you to lose your mind and fall for her. She's fine. She just left after slapping her butt. What are you still attached to this woman for? Mrs. Quinn was so angry that her face turned blue. She patted her chest as if she could not catch her breath. Her body was trembling. Mom, don't be angry. It's my fault. Quinn Dong saw Mrs. Quinn like this and immediately became anxious. He hurriedly went to support her. Xian Yun looked at Luo Yanyan, who was still calm and could even be considered calm. Naturally, she did not miss the ridicule in her eyes. Xian Yun could not help clicking her tongue in her heart a few times. She had only just seen it now. Back then, Luo Yanyan had to face this mother-in-law, who was possessed by the actor all day long, and the precious husband who was not weaned. What kind of helplessness and anger should she have? Fortunately, she saw clearly in time and took off her body. Xian Yun, the car is here. Let's go. Luo Yanyan herself did not expect to meet Mrs. Quinn again. Being humiliated by her in every way, her heart could actually be so calm. It was as if she was facing a mad dog. The mad dog kept barking and she could not go back with it. On the other hand, Luo Yanyan was not surprised that Quinn Dong was not doing well. Because she knew how capable Mrs. Quinn was and how precious her son was. Quinn Dong was already over 30 years old. She actually cared about what kind of underwear he wore. Whether it was Quinn Dong's life or his work, he had to report to Mrs. Quinn first. Otherwise, Mrs. Quinn would be so angry that she would collapse at any moment. Mrs. Quinn's possessiveness towards Quinn Dong was not ordinary. Back then, it was also because she cared too much, and her hands were too long. She also wanted her son and wife to listen to her. That was why Luo Yanyan's relationship with her was very bad. She had instigated the relationship between her son and wife. Quinn Dong always wanted Luo Yanyan to put her mother's feelings first, no matter what her mother did. He just said one sentence, "That's my mother." What can I do? All of this led to Luo Yanyan's complete disappointment in Quinn Dong. She would rather get a divorce than believe his groundless promise. With such a mother, how could she allow other women to fight for her son? So if Quinn Dong did not stay away from her, he would never find true happiness. However, to Quinn Dong, the deep-rooted thoughts of more than 30 years were not something that could be changed overnight. Luo Yanyan felt that she seemed to have thought a little too much. At this time, Li Sheng's had already driven over. Wenjing had said that she had something to do and left first. Xian Yun did not drive over and was ready to catch a ride with Luo Yanyan when she got back. She did not expect to run into Quinn Dong and his mother. When Luo Yanyan saw Li Shengze, she immediately waved at him happily. Li Sheng's pressed the horn a few times and stopped the car with a teleportation. Then he opened the door and walked over. He smiled and put his arm around Luo Yanyan's shoulder and pulled her into his arms. Luo Yanyan's height had just reached his shoulder. The two of them were the cutest and most adorable. They were handsome and pretty, and they matched each other's faces. What's the matter? I was not happy after just leaving for a while. Li Sheng saw Luo Yanyan's frown and could not help but tease her. Nothing. Let's go. Luo Yanyan raised her eyebrows and smiled. Okay? Li Sheng's did not look at Quinn Dong and his son, as if they were strangers and had nothing to do with them. He kept hugging Luo Yanyan intimately, and then turned his head to smile at Xian Yun. Mrs. Hu, our car does not have your family's pride. Don't dislike it. Didn't Yanyan tell you that my car is a Buick? You are at least a horse. Xian Yun looked at Li Shengzi's BMW and said with a smile, "Ha ha ha." Li Sheng's also laughed. The three of them completely ignored Quinn Dong and his mother. But Mrs. Qin felt humiliated at this moment and actually shouted, "This mister is Luo Yanyan's fiancé? I think you better consider carefully. Luo Yanyan, this woman is not worthy of your love." Mrs. Quinn's words struck Luo Yanyan and the other two like a thunderbolt. Luo Yanyan, who had not shed all pretenses with her, now turned around with a cold expression. She looked at Mrs. Quinn with a bone-piercing cold gaze. However, before Luo Yanyan could open her mouth, Mrs. Quinn had already shouted at Li Sheng's once again. "You definitely do not know that Luo Yanyan was divorced and even had a baby. Her family is also a bottomless pit of vampires. Marrying her is equivalent to marrying a scourge. Back then, our family did not want her because she cheated our family's money. Sir, you better consider carefully." Just now Mrs. Quinn was making a noise, and there were already quite a number of people around who looked over. Although divorce and abortion were very common these days, when they stood on the streets and shouted, it still made the crowd notice the gossip. The crowd did not find it too much, and at this time, they looked at Lu Yunyan with interest, and whispered to each other, saying that this girl looked very pretty. Why was she a swindler? I lied to your family's money? Jin Deqi, where is the evidence? If you can't produce evidence, I'll sue you for slander, Luo Yanyan said coldly. No matter how much she could endure it, she could not stand Mrs. Quinn's shamelessness at this moment. She wanted to go up and tear that broken mouth off. At the same time, Lu Yanyan waved her phone. She had already recorded all of Mrs. Quinn's humiliating words without batting an eyelid. Evidence? You still have the face to ask for evidence? Quinn Dong, say something. Did this woman ask for your money when she married you? Mrs. Quinn pushed Quinn Dong, who kept his head down and kept quiet. She did not want Lu Yanyan to find such a handsome boyfriend. She must let this man know Lu Yanyan's true colors. Quinn Dong felt his face burning when he saw Li Shengzai. He had thought that with Luo Yanyan's family background, and her current status, she could only find a man with average looks and average conditions. She should not be driving a BMW. She should be an elite at first glance. Quinn Dong lowered his head and felt very uncomfortable in his heart. Grief, unwillingness, regret, and regret intertwined together and filled his heart. It made his head buzz as if it was going to explode. He could only see a blood-red color in front of his eyes. Quinn Dong, what are you thinking? Mrs. Quinn saw Quinn Dong's dazed look and was instantly angered. She could not help but pinch him. Quinn Dong raised his head and looked at Mrs. Quinn blankly. He heard Mrs. Quinn sternly ask him to tell her the purpose of Luo Yanyan's marriage with him back then. Quinn Dong looked at Luo Yanyan again. The woman was also looking at him calmly. Her eyes were still as clear as before when she looked at him. Her pretty and rosy cheeks also told him that she was doing very well now. This made Quinn Dong suddenly think of the past. When the two of them met on a blind date, he fell in love with Luo Yanyan at first sight. However, Lu Yanyan clearly did not like him. At that time, she seemed to have just experienced an emotional injury, and he took advantage of it. He tried his best to please Luo Yanyan's family, because he knew that Luo Yanyan listened to her family very much. So he asked her family to put pressure on her and forced her to agree to marry him step by step. Later on, he succeeded. If he did not act so fucking strongly and continuously instigate her, he felt that Lu Yanyan would not divorce so firmly. But there was no ifs in the world. Useless thing. Mrs. Quinn saw Quinn Dong's appearance and was extremely angry. Her son could not find any help here, and she could only continue on her own. She immediately turned her head to look at Lu Yanyan and said with a cold smile, "Slander? What did I slander you about? Which part of what I said was wrong? Are you getting a divorce, or are you aborted? Did your family not take Quinn Dong's money when you married Quinn Dong? Yes, I was divorced and had a child. But why did Quinn Dong and I get a divorce? You should know better than anyone how that child fell off." Mrs. Quinn's persistence made Lu Yanyan explode. She looked away from Quinn Dong. She had been disappointed in this man for a long time. He had never been able to do anything to her, and only wanted her to tolerate it. In the past, she was weak. It was because she did not want to make it difficult for Quinn Dong. That was why she endured it. But now, she had divorced Quinn Dong for 2 years and had paid off the money she owed. She did not lack anything from the Quinn family. Luo Yanyan would not tolerate a shrew like Mrs. Quinn anymore. Luo Yanyan said coldly, "Don't remember? Then let me tell you that child, your biological grandson, was murdered by you. Could it be that you can't hear the child crying at night?" When the surrounding people heard this, they all looked at Mrs. Quinn in horror. Nonsense. Mrs. Quinn was extremely angry, but once Luo Yanyan erupted, how would she give Mrs. Quinn the chance to speak? If you raise your head 3 feet high, there will be a God. You dare to swear on your son's life that you were not the one who pressed my stomach before I aborted, just because you suspect that the child is not Quinn Dong's? As a result, the child is gone, and you are a poisonous woman, Luo Yanyan said angrily. Mrs. Quinn originally wanted to refute, But when she heard Luo Yanyan want her to swear Qin Dong's life, her eyes suddenly flashed and her mouth stuttered a few times. But she did not say the last sentence. Luo Yanyan just happened to hit Mrs. Quin's Achilles heel, and that was because she cared too much about Qin Dong. Qin Dong was her lifeblood. Although she had done many immoral things and her mouth was also bad, she still did not dare to say that kind of thing. She was also afraid that retribution would really fall on her son. Yanyan, I'm sorry. I apologize to you on behalf of my mother. Don't argue with her like that. She did not mean it. Qin Dong saw Mrs. Quin's face turn red. Seeing that she was about to flare up again, Lu Yanyan did not budge an inch this time. He hurriedly came out to mediate. You have no intention of speaking? Ask her how many bad things she has done. How many people has she talked bad about? Lu Yanyan was disgusted when she saw Mrs. Quin. If Mrs. Quin had not provoked her again and again, she would not have cared about a shrew like Mrs. Quin. Let's go. Lu Yanyan really did not want to see Qin Dong again. This man was so weak that she despised him. Wait. Li Cheng's, who had been silent the whole time, suddenly pressed Lu Yanyan's shoulder. Luo Yanyan looked at him nervously. Even Jian Yun was nervous. She did not know what Li Sheng's would think when he heard these words. Don't worry. My feelings for you are not so fragile. Just a few words from a random person and he wanted to provoke us. Then wouldn't I be like that coward? Li Sheng's rubbed Luo Yanyan's hair and comforted her with a smile. You are so good. I don't even have time to cherish it. Li Sheng's did not lower his voice. Qin Dong naturally heard his words. At that time, he saw Qin Dong's face turn pale. Luo Yanyan's heart calmed down a little. She was not worried that Li Sheng's would believe Mrs. Quin's words. Previously, when he chased her so fiercely, and she refused all the time, she had already told him everything about herself. She also said that she did not want to get married again, but Li Chengzhe did not care at all. Moreover, he was even more persistent in pursuing her. It had been almost 2 years. Only then did she accept him. She believed that their relationship would not be ruined by Mrs. Quin's words. However, Lu Yanyan felt ashamed from the bottom of her heart, especially when she was cut open in front of so many people on the street. Her once bloody past made her heart feel cold. Yanyan. Jian Yun held Lu Yanyan's hand and looked at her worriedly. She looked at Mrs. Quin's viciousness and her mouth full of nonsense. Then she looked at Qin Dong's cowardice and could not straighten his back. He could not even say a complete sentence. Jian Yun really could not imagine what kind of torture Luo Yanyan suffered in the Qin family back then with a big belly. It's okay. Luo Yanyan patted Jian Yun's hand and tried hard to pull away a smile. At this time, Li Sheng's let go of Jian Yun's shoulder and took a step forward. He crossed his arms and looked at Mrs. Quin, who looked like a clown. Aunt, you have to take responsibility for what you say. You are here today to blabber nonsense and accuse my fiancé of wrongdoing. I can sue you,